Yes. So welcome everyone. We are very happy to have you here in this Supercharging Connected TV Advertising, the power of data audiences that Adrian Rubio is going to share with you. First, let me start by presenting a bit mediasmart. mediasmart is a mobile-first DSP, right? That was created in 2012, so we have more than 8 years of track experience, and we actually support connected TV since a couple of years already. But now we are creating a new solution that includes audiences, and as part of this, we created this webinar. As I was saying, mediasmart, well, the whole team is amazing, and you know, I couldn't say anything bad about any of them. And you have us here, right? So our platform, just a quick intro, is very specialized in measuring incrementality, right? The whole tech is ours, and this is very good because we try to innovate as much as possible. So you know, you get the last things out there for advertising. And well, as it's stated there, we are a programmatic platform, right? And we are connected to most of the main ad exchanges out there for display, native video, and connected TV, right? And our offices are in Madrid and New York. Our company was bought earlier on this year by Apple. Apple is a company listed in the Indian market that has been out there for more than 15 years, sorry, and is very into the world of mobile. So we do have a very good understanding and a very good stand around everything that's mobile and digital. In any case, not to bore you further with more details about our company, here is Adrian Rubio, who is going to present this webinar. So Adrian, I'm, you know, giving you the stage.
The microphone. Thank you, Olatz. And I forgot to mention about your name, Olatz Goyenechea. Goyenechea, she's our amazing part of the amazing business development team. She is in Madrid, although right now I think she's in the Basque country due to the COVID situation. And speaking of this COVID situation, I hope everybody is safe wherever you are. My name is Adrian Rubio, that in Spanish means, Rubio means blonde, as you can see, very appropriately named. I'm in New York. And as many of you can see, I have my COVID hair is growing and my Zoom shirt is getting tighter. But you know, we're pretty happy to be here. We're going to talk about connected TV and hopefully try to clarify some concepts that are out there and then they're frequently misplaced or confused. There's a lot of confusion on the definitions, so we're going to cover a lot of the basics, and then we're going to move on a little bit more into market data and so on. So, and me, Adrian Rubio, I'm business development in New York. I already said that, and I shouldn't bang on the table. So we're going to go through some definitions. Then we're going to talk about connected TV advertising, and we're going to share some market data. We're going to talk about the advantages and challenges of using connected TV and how you make the most of it if you are used to buying in programmatic display, native, mobile, desktop, and so on. How, if you're used to being part of the programmatic world, open RTB, PMP world of DSPs, SMPs, and platforms, DMPs, how can you start doing connected TV yourself? Then we're going to have some conclusions about what, you know, why you should be looking at connected TV. And finally, we're going to have a Q&A session. Hopefully there will be Not many questions, or not, because everything is so clear. But anyway, so let's start with what is connected TV. We hear a lot of the time, advanced TV, OTT, linear, non-linear, on-demand. We're going to try to clarify a little bit of those concepts. So in essence, what is connected TV is digital content accessed by apps and streamed over the internet to smart TVs or OTT devices. So OTT devices, as you probably know, or you would understand, is your Apple TV, your Roku device that sits on top of it's off the top. That's what it's called, OTT. But it also can be a game console and so on. Your PlayStation, your Xbox. Some people include mobile devices within their definition of connected TV. We do not, and most advertisers do not. Some SSPs do, because that way makes their inventory look bigger, because there's a lot of mobile inventory out there. But by and large, we don't count it as part of our connected TV inventory. At least in the case of mediasmart, and I think most DSPs out there don't count it either, or try not to count it either, because we did rely largely on the information that is being supplied to us by the SSPs. Now, let's talk a little bit about connected TV advertising. And we're going to first differentiate between connected TV and linear TV, and then we're going to see all the variations. We're going to talk a little bit about the variations that are in between connected TV and linear television. So connected TV, we have the pricing model that is CPM. Again, I'm hoping or expecting most of the people that are joining today are acquainted with programmatic advertising, so it's a CPM model. Linear TV, there's variations that can be CPM, but it's largely on CPP, which is a cost per point, which is a gross rating point. We're going to talk about what is a gross rating point in a minute. But the cost per point is basically the amount of money that you spend divided by the gross rating points. We're going to talk about that in a second. The targeting in connected TV is audience specific. I want to reach this audience, and I want to reach them largely regardless of what they are watching or when they are watching. Whereas linear television, because it's linear, the show is at X, Y, or Z time, it's show specific. Obviously, a lot of advertisers want to reach a specific audience, but they want to reach the specific audience when they're watching that show. The metrics on connected TV are impressions delivered, whereas in linear is GRP. Now let's talk about very quickly about GRPs. So GRPs is gross rating points, is a percentage of people within the media market that I want to address. It can be DMA, which is widely used in the US, which is designated market area, but it can be anything that you define as your media market. So if you have, let's say, I want to reach people between 18 and 24, and this show is being watched by 30% of those people, and then I multiply that for the frequency of ads that I'm showing, let's say 4. So you have 30% times 4 impressions for impressions in that segment, that equals 120 GRPs. So this is a very basic calculation. Again, the focus of today's webinar is not linear TV, but just a little bit to understand the different how it differs from connected TV. The market that we have on connected TV is in real time, and linear television is largely sold on upfronts and the scatter market. So the upfronts, I'm sure everybody has heard at some point, is an event that takes place once a year around March, but it has May, but it has varied over the years, where the networks, NBC, CBS, ESPN, and even the cable provider, the cable channels like HBO, they showcase the programming that is going to be for the next season they're going to have, and they sell that advertising, like the name says, upfront. Most of the time, they sell most of it, and sometimes they save some for the scatter market. The scatter market is not really the spot market. It's not like you can buy it today, but you can buy it, let's say, a month in advance. but you don't have to make that commitment to buy a lot of it. Most of the people that buy on the upfront markets are the large media agencies, the Karats of this world, or big advertisers. And the scatter market is, it's more based around the time when something is going to happen. So some networks may save some of their inventory for the scatter market, but by and large, it's sold on the upfront. Again, the difference is the commitment, and the other one is that in the scatter market, the price may go up and may go down depending on the demand. A lot of the times is higher, and if so, a lot of some of the networks may decide to hold back a little bit of that inventory to make more money. The buying, how do you do the buying in connected TV? Is programmatic, and it can be programmatic direct, PMP, all the variations that we know in programmatic. And linear TV is negotiated, is the old-fashioned way. The creative on connected TV, you can have multiple sizes, formats, and some of them can be interactive. And linear television is an ad that you see on TV. The geo, where you target, is you can do by household IP address in connected TV, whereas in the linear TV, you go by media market or DMA. So in summary, connected TV advertising largely targets audiences through data rather than through content. But there's a lot of variations. There's a few variations out there for linear television. We're going to talk about them in a second. I'm taking a little bit of water. So we have, like we said, linear television that is via direct deal with the broadcaster, and the advertiser uses Nielsen data, which is usually very basic demographic data, gender, age, to make the purchasing decisions. Now we have a variation of linear TV that is called programmatic TV, and this is where a lot of the confusion starts, because it's programmatic, but it's not programmatic in the way that people that are in display programmatic open RTV, PMP world understand. Yes, you use platforms to do the media purchases, but you use data points provided by the STV provider. STV means set-top box, which is your cable provider, your Cox, your Time Warner, your Verizon. And you can target TV spots that match the target criteria. Again, you're buying a spot on a TV show using a little bit more data than you would do with Nielsen, and you're using programmatic technology. Now we have a version of programmatic television that is called addressable TV, still largely linear. It's also programmatic, and you can match, you can buy spots and at the household level. You can match people at the household level. This means that people, two households watching the same show can be shown two different ads. And finally, we have connected TV, which is what we're going to be focusing on today, that you can do any type of data that you want, slice and dice. You can do addressable at the IP household level. You can use any behavioral data, demographic from a third party, or your own data, and it targets only the intended audience that you want to reach. So you reduce waste. Which is usually the purpose of any smart media buying. No pun intended. So in summary, we have linear television, we have programmatic television, addressable TV, and connected TV. What type of content, what type of data, the buying method, and whether it's on real time or not. So we have linear television is not in real time. Programmatic TV is not necessarily on real time. Addressable TV is in real time, as is connected TV. And the pricing, when I mean negotiated, it's either there's a fixed price, and you call you have a relationship with a media seller, and you agree on a price, whether you're using a platform or not. In the case of addressable TV, some of it is biddable, by far, or so far, most of it is still negotiated in a direct manner. And in connected TV, you have open RTV and you have PMPs. A lot of the inventory that is on connected TV, from what we hear from the exchanges, a lot of it is bought on PMP, but there's some share that is available on the open market. So what are the advantages and challenges? Why should we consider connected TV as a means to reach our audience? Well, first, viewership, so audience. So connected TV has a penetration of 80% of US households as of June 2020. I would say this with an asterisk, because this was the latest study that I could find, and that was done by Lightman Research. And it seems that they did include, if we go back to some of the first slides, they do include mobile devices that stream content through an app as a connected TV device, even if it's mobile. So basically, if you have an iPad and you're watching Netflix, they count it as such. So you have to take it with a bit of grain of salt, but as of last year, it was around 65%. And as we've seen, penetration has only increased during lockdown. So there's no exact numbers. I think there's going to be some research later in the fall that are going to give more updated numbers. But the point is that it's growing in market share. We have 4.1 connected TV devices enabled per household. Again, this is under that definition. And the hours spent grew 81% year over year. This has been post-COVID, and it has maintained after let's call it the peak of the lockdown, at least in certain parts of the country. Speaking about the U.S., which was New York in March, April, and the rest of the country in April, June. In New York, we were also in heavy lockdown in June. But the point being that it has once people start using connected TV, there's no going back. It's from there on, it's one of their main sources for entertainment. In 2019, there was a 7% drop on traditional TV viewing time versus connected TV devices rising 17%. That was last year. So we can see that even it's not only the penetration, but the viewing time is increasing. And we can see that in one of the the segment that you would expect to be the more amenable, or the one that would have adopted first, which is people from 18 to 24-year-olds. They now watch only 25 minutes of traditional TV a day. Is that a lot? Is that little? Around in 2017, that number was about 2.5 hours. So it has decreased dramatically. And people that daily watch connected TV is 55% of 18 to 34-year-olds. You would expect that because, again, younger people are more technology savvy, usually. 48% of 35 to 54, and 18% of people over 55. This tells us this is to be expected. Obviously, senior people or historically senior people are laggards when it comes to technology adoption. But you see that it's already 18%, which is grossly 1 in 5. So the point is, the viewership is growing, and it's growing in one direction. So let's talk about advertising within connected TV. Why is it important? 2 out of 3 people use a second screen to look up information while they're watching. I am one of those. I'm watching a TV show. I'm watching an ad. I look it up on my phone or my iPad, whatever is around. The number of connected TV impressions jumped 36% year over year in March 2020. Again, it has been largely helped by COVID. And the share of global video ad impressions is now 39% for connected TV. We also saw that some verticals increased their spend even during lockdown, with CPG increasing 59%, telecom 18%, pharma 11%. This obviously can be sort of hopefully a unique situation. We're going to be out of lockdown at least, in a few months or gradually. But it makes sense if you think that all people were doing, or the only time when people would go out of their houses would be to go to the grocery store, and the brands in the CPGs want people they want to be top of mind when people go to that grocery store. We also have that 84% of brands plan to spend less or the same in linear TV in 2020 versus 2019. And the spend on connected TV is expected to reach 10.81 billion by 2021. So does it mean that linear television is gone, connected TV this is it today, and that's that. Well, not so quick. There are some challenges in connected television, and like Mark Twain used to say, the reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated. Connected TV is not expected to take over linear until after 2023. That said, like I said, it's going in one direction. Connected TV is gaining market share, but that doesn't mean that linear TV is going to go away overnight. So what are the challenges that we have on connected TV? As we saw before, and that's why it was a little bit important to cover a little bit about linear TV and how it's purchased, is that there's a challenge when it comes to inventory. A lot of the connected TV inventory is sold on the upfronts. Why? Because the people that buy linear television still have a lot of the larger budgets, and the networks bundle this inventory with the linear television inventory for the media buyers. So that creates the second problem that we have, that is fragmentation across the value chain. You have a lot of scattered inventory across different platforms and different vendors. If I am an advertiser, I can buy from a manufacturer, whether it's Samsung or Vizio, via content aggregators like you could say Hulu or Fubo, or you can do it directly with the publishers or the networks app. So there's a lot of places where I can go buy, and all of these, the smart TV vendors, the gaming consoles, and the OTT apps or the native OTT apps, they all have their own sales force, and they all have, they all want to sell their inventory at the highest possible price, which creates a little bit of silos, right? And finally, we have measurability, that even though we have a lot more measurability on connected TV that you would have on traditional television, and there's a lot of, and we'll get to that, we'll cover a little bit of measurability when it comes to attribution, but when it comes to viewability, you still have the same problem that linear television has, and in the opinion of many people, myself included, I don't think it's going to get better given the privacy concerns. It's going to be very hard for people to know exactly if Adrian was watching the advertising that was shown on his television, or he went to the bathroom, he went to get a sandwich, or whatever it is. It's going to be very hard to get better into that. But again, this is a limitation that even linear TV has, and so far connected TV doesn't really address that problem. Again, this is just to show a little bit more about how the industry is. There's a lot of silos. There's a lot of fragmentation. We don't need to go through all of this, but this is your typical LumaScape. If we remember how the LumaScape for display programmatic used to look, it started small and started growing and growing and growing. In this one, we see that the connected TV or conversion TV that they call it today, which encompasses all types of television, it starts to grow, and then you start seeing a lot of dotted red lines, which means that these companies have been acquired. So getting to the point. So how can I make the most of connected television and working with a DSP like mediasmart? So there are many things why you want to buy a connected television, especially if you are used to buying on programmatic display, programmatic native, programmatic mobile, programmatic desktop. You're used to using a lot of data, even third-party data, first-party data, creating a lot of targeting variables, a lot more sophistication that you usually have on linear television that I'm buying, advertising on this TV show, and that's pretty much it. I mean, I trust Nielsen to tell me that this is the right demographic, and hope and pray. So one of the things that we have on mediasmart is a very cool product we're launching that is called the household sync. So you can increase the impact of your brand by syncing the ads that you show on connected TV with other devices in the household. This is not only your traditional cross-device advertising that I'm going to advertise on several devices around someone's device graph. This is more about having more variables at your reach, which is choosing a lag time. I show choosing a lag time for showing the second or third ad, and then also changing the format or personalizing it more and doing a lot of experiments if you want to do that. We call that strategies within our platform. But basically, an example would be to show a TV ad and then send the same or a different ad to a household in another format, another device. Let's say, for example, I send after my connected TV ad, I send a display ad to an iPad after 30 minutes of the exposure of the connected TV. So basically, the idea is to reinforce the message or to leverage and see what is the level of engagement that the user has to my advertising. And the most important or equally important is audiences. So in mediasmart, we have a number of tools to work with audiences. Right there with your same login. Basically, you can create location-based audiences. We're going to dive a little bit into that. We have interaction-based audiences. We have time-based audiences, which are a derivation of location-based audiences or interaction-based audiences. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about audience insights, another very cool tool. You can upload your audiences if you have your own DMP. Perfectly fine. Bring your data. We can create lookalikes, and you have third-party audiences. We have some third-party vendors, including Nielsen, AdSquare, SEOTAP, and a number of other partners. Just to reiterate something that I hope I am clear. Everything that we do here is GDPR and CCPA compliant. Like I said, the company is part of Apple now, but mediasmart was, unlike me, was born and raised in Spain. So we had to be GDPR compliant for many years now. So we're very acquainted with what it means and very obviously respectful of the regulation. So a location-based audience. This is a simple example. Let's say I am Walmart and I want to target Safeway customers with connected TV. So what I do is I build an audience with people that have been to a Safeway during a certain period of time, and I start building that audience until I feel it's large enough for me to start running advertising on it. It's based on geolocation. It's based on where people are going. Another derivation of that is we can target people that work in finance. Usually, financial districts, at least in New York, in London, even Frankfurt. I think this picture is Frankfurt. They're reduced areas, and we can, based on where people are at certain times, we can determine that these people work in finance, which is an alternative to just buying advertising on Bloomberg TV. That would be not only more expensive, but probably you don't want to catch your users when they're looking at the stock market. You probably want to catch them when they're watching another show, whether they're watching sports, and they're more relaxed, depending on what it is that you're trying to advertise. Let's say, a vacation. Probably it's not, or maybe it's the right time when they're watching the stock market. But if you want to target them when they're doing something else, they're more relaxed, you can do it using connected TV. Interaction-based audiences is relatively straightforward. You can target people that have been doing certain things in your app, people that registered but did not purchase in your app. You have that data, and you can target people based on that and show them a TV ad for them to take the next step. For example, somebody has an e-commerce app and has been browsing, and they haven't purchased anything, or they have something on their shopping cart. So we can target them with connected TV just to remind them, that there is of our brand. Oh yeah, and I have something there, I forgot. Interaction-based audience, again, another type is not only people that interacted with my app or my website, it's also people that interacted with my app. So let's say that we have a number of people that saw less than 25% of my mobile ad because it was skippable, because they were in the middle of a game. I was showing it probably not the best time. So I want to create an audience with that and show the full ad on connected TV. That's an interaction-based audience. Time-based audience, like we said before, it's a derivation of time-based audiences. And time-based audience is the derivation of location-based audiences or interaction-based audiences. So you can target or blacklist people who made a purchase in the last 7 days in your app. You can put that variable about the last 7 days. Why it is important as just bundle everybody who hasn't done a purchase is because you may have historic data that shows that people that do not purchase in the first or in the first 7 days are very likely to not buy ever. So that's when you want to focus your advertising or this type of more prominent advertising to that type of customer. You want to put your ad in front of them on a bigger format that they cannot miss, which is connected TV, so that you don't lose that time window. That is very important for you. Audience Insights is a very cool tool that we have that allows you to set a number of business rules and for things that you want to measure within an audience. For example, you can discover that people that you target on your connected TV campaign, of those people, 30% visit your competitor, or competitor 1, 46 competitor 2, 7% downloaded your app yesterday, 60% used your app in the last 30 days. So these are business rules that you can define easily in our platform once you create an audience based on certain interactions or certain, again, other audiences that you may have done on location interaction, or in this case, interaction with your ad. So, and finally, another reason to use connected TV is cutting edge tracking and attribution. So we are a company that started in mobile. We do a lot of, obviously, devices today, but we have been part of, we created our own attribution tracking for obviously conversions. We also work with the major MMPs for mobile attribution. We have our own footfall tracking and measurement solution. We have that also based on incrementality. So basically, you have a campaign targeting people, telling people on connected TV to go to Walmart, as we saw before. We can track how many people went to Walmart. But then the third variable is that we can also track how many people went to Walmart as a result of that campaign. That's what we call incrementality, because you're not only measuring people that went to Walmart, you're measuring people that went to Walmart as a result of your campaign. So we're pretty transparent, not pretty, 100% transparent. So we not only show you the delivery impressions, but we have over 26 metrics and 35 filters for you to slice and dice the data as you see fit. We also give you the ability to get the raw data from your campaigns, etc. So, and again, when it comes to tracking and attribution, tracking conversions, pretty much anything that you can measure or you can track on a digital device, we can do. So basically, if somebody sees my ad in connected TV, but they convert on desktop or they convert on the mobile, we can track that. E-commerce purchases, store visits. Store visits don't even need a pixel. We can track those without the need of a postback. And this is done across the household devices. So now I can see it now, or can hear it now. There's going to be questions about that. So there's going to be a question right there. Wait, how can you do the matching if, as we know, cookies are crumbling? They're going to be deprecated. We all heard about the IDFA apocalypse on iOS in the last few days. Is Google going to be next? This is going to be the end of people being able to do granular attribution. Well, our connected TV offering is fairly new to this, largely because we started working on this before the announcement. I think most of us in programmatic advertising saw that this was coming. We knew it was coming. We didn't know it was going to be this sudden, but we started working on this a long time ago. Our connected TV solution, this is very important, is built around the household, not individuals. And to be fair, Apple is not yet clear on everything, but we're fairly prepared, or as prepared as can be for having our solution be functional in this new world that is cookieless and IDFA-less, and probably, we don't know, also without the Google ID. So, in conclusion, why buy connected TV programmatically? First of all, most importantly, because that's where people are. That's where the highly engaged consumers are, and that's where they're going. You also get better CPMs. You reduce your ad spend. You get to deliver a higher quality ad unit if you've been in programmatic and you've been used to buying display and native. You have better attribution tracking. You have frequency capping. You get real-time buying metrics. You can reach global markets. This is very important. You can buy advertising in Australia without having somebody there to be schmoozing with the media, with the networks down there. You can do, as we saw, you can do the sync with other household devices. You can use audiences, lookalikes. And another very important issue is, or a very important advantage, is this available to advertisers of any budget. We've seen people run campaigns of connected TV in our platform for less than $5,000, and they don't, as opposed to trying to find out if there's any remnant inventory in the scatter market, or try to find out who I should contact an NBC to buy. Impossible to buy $5,000 worth of advertising. So this makes it available to almost any budget. I say almost because the CPMs, as you can expect, are higher than display and native. That said, the engagement and the quality of the advertising that you're delivering is a lot higher as well. So I hope I didn't go too fast, but because I think we're coming to the very end, I'm gonna have a sip of water, and then I'm gonna go back to actually I'm gonna go back to Olat's first. And wait a second, how do I do that? Or you do that?
We are good, Adrian.
Okay.
Thank you everyone that joined, and we actually do have some questions. I don't know if we are going to be able to go through all of them. But let's look at the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
So this one from Beula, who says, can CTV help a fashion startup? If yes, how?
Well, I would say absolutely. You can show an ad. You have to have your content. Obviously, you have to have an ad for your fashion brand. You can show whatever models that you want to display, you want to promote. And if you have a website where you can track those conversions, you can do that and see, measure more accurately what has been the return on your investment on that advertising. So yes, that definitely yes. But you have to create your content, you have to create your ad, and we do have some help on our know-how and our knowledge base. What are the formats and for you to how you should build your ad? What's the length? What is the weight of the ad, and so forth. And I forgot to mention now that came about. We are going back to the tracking. We are putting out in the coming days an FAQ for all our customers and prospective customers about what's going to happen with IDFA and all these changes in privacy for some people that are out there nervous and want to get more in-depth explanation of this. We're going to have an FAQ that you will be able to see on your when you log into your platform, or if not, you just ping us and we'll send you the link to that FAQ that is going to be on our website as well, on our blog.
Sure. I would actually also add, if you allow, Adrian, that one of the good things about CTV, and Adrian mentioned that, is that you don't need huge and crazy budgets to be able to put ads on CTV, right? So obviously CPMs, and I know someone was asking about CPMs in CTV also, but CPMs are higher, and that's expected, but it's less expensive than linear TV, right? So this could be a good way for you to test if you get ROI from spending in TV for sure. So let me actually very on the line, Shiva Mendra, and I hope I'm saying the name well, is asking if the business is not an app, can CTV be useful?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, it's any type of business. If you are a website or just branding, just pure branding is a better way, or local branding. We have a good example. We have people in automotive, auto dealerships in certain part of the country that they saw this as a better way to budget their spend rather than going to the scatter market that they traditionally used to go. And it turned out to be more expensive, and they have less control about when and how they spend their money, and they have a lot more measurability. I'm seeing another question here, and I'm not going to mention the competitor, but how is it different to other players? How is mediasmart solution different to other players in the market? There's we can go granular, but one of the main things that we have, and I don't want to talk badly about any of our competitors. I think many of them are very, very good. We have everything under the same login. So one thing we would focus is we're largely a self-serve platform that allows you. We have a great team, by the way, in Madrid, a really great support team. But we allow you to build your audiences under the same roof. We allow you to do this household sync under the same roof. You can do all these features without having to coordinate with 3 or 4 companies and wait a month to launch a connected TV campaign. If you have your content, you can launch your campaign within the day or within the time that takes exchanges to approve your creative, and you're off to the races. Another advantage that we have is that we don't require yearly contracts or monthly minimums that other competitors do. We know that we are in the business of allowing our clients make their media buying more efficient. And if they are liking our product, we make money. If they're happy with our product, and we don't want to tie them to a contract that is just gonna be forcing them to spend on our platform, even if it doesn't work for them. So that's not our philosophy. Our philosophy is that we want to keep our clients happy, and they're going to spend in our platform because it's working for them, not because we tie them to an MSA. I hope I didn't go too pitchy on that.
No. Literally, it was about what differentiates us, right? So we have some questions, I think 3 or 4, about inventory, and if there's inventory in India, in Brazil and Latin America. I think we already went and spoke about that, but we actually do have inventory everywhere, right, Adrian?
Yes, we have inventory everywhere. Also, to be fair, there is some countries where the inventory is very limited. Southeast Asia is one of those markets, but it's growing. Like we said, it's growing in many parts of the world. By and large, a lot of the inventory today is in Europe, in the US, which is obviously the biggest market. Not obviously, it's the biggest market, but there are impressions in Latin America in many apps, in many SSPs. It is like as we said, there's an issue with the inventory, but that said, there is enough for people to be purchasing on the open market or via a PMP. If you have an PMP. We organize a PMP, or we schedule, or we negotiate a PMP with the SSPs, you won't have much of an inventory problem.
Yes, and to actually close the loop about this, Paola is asking if there are mediasmart features available also in the UK apart from the US, and we mentioned a lot the US because Adrian is partial to the US. Jokes aside, well, you can answer that one.
Not in soccer, though. Not in soccer. In soccer, I still root for Mexico, by the way. And so,
okay.
Even though I'm technically an American, I have my green card. Not on my green card, I might have citizenship, but in soccer, I still root for Mexico. Yes. So this is a very good question, because there are certain countries where IP addresses are shared by a large number of households. It does happen in certain parts of Asia, some parts of Latin America. it can happen, but it's not a very common thing to have in Europe or in the US. But it's a good question.
Yeah. And I do believe we went through most of them. I see this one that is very interesting about content management experience on TV for the end user. And literally it works as any other content management, right? It's done on publisher level. So
Correct.
that's information that the SSPs will be sending us, and we do process it, and we, take care of, and are very cautious about it because,
but this is a very important question, and thanks, Jahansep. We're a processor of data under GDPR. We're not a controller. So as opposed to other platforms, and again, a differentiator between us and other people is that we're not building profiles, and this is very important. So a lot of the targeting that you see is all based on the ability or the resources or the let's call it the limitations that we have as a processor to process this data. So we rely on the publisher, and the exchanges send us the consent, and we obviously only track people that have given their consent. This is super important. But yes, we're a processor. We're not building profiles, and even though if you look at what we do, you would think that we're not. It's very important. That's another differentiator again between our technology and other people.
So I believe we went through all the questions. I would thank everyone that stayed with us until the very end. And obviously, if you are watching this, with the video posted and you got here and you have any question, feel free to message any of us. I know Adrian's email was at the beginning, so that would be the easiest. In any case, thank you for your time. I will let Adrian, end this session.
No, thank you very much, Alex. Thanks for your support. By the way, she put the presentation together. It looks really good. Yeah, I was, doing some last minute changes, and she wanted to kill me, but she did a great job. Another thing I want to say is that this webinar is going to be recorded. So if you have any colleagues or any of the people that didn't attend, we will be sending you a link to it. We're not going to send the file. It's going to be huge. But thanks everyone for joining. And again, stay safe wherever you are. And in some places, we're already very close to the weekend, which means Friday. So enjoy the weekend. And thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.